What is this property really worth as an investment? Belentino Rental Yield Calculator. Gross yield. Net yield. Cash-on-cash return. Full cost modeling. HMO analysis. 25-year projections. One platform. Rental yield is the single most important metric for buy-to-let investors, yet it is routinely miscalculated. Estate agents quote gross yield, annual rent divided by purchase price, which ignores every cost of ownership. Void periods, management fees, maintenance, insurance, ground rent, and mortgage payments all erode your return. A property advertised at 7% gross yield might deliver only 3% net. And if you have financed the purchase with a mortgage, the return on your actual cash invested, your cash-on-cash return, could be dramatically different again. Without modeling every cost, every scenario, and every year of ownership, you are making the most important financial decision of the deal based on an incomplete number. The rental yield calculator delivers three perspectives on your investment return. Gross yield is the headline figure, annual rent divided by purchase price. It is useful for quick comparisons but tells you nothing about profitability. Net yield subtracts all operating costs, void periods, management fees, maintenance, insurance, ground rent, and service charges from annual rent, then divides by purchase price. This is your true operating return. Cash-on-cash return goes further still. It divides annual cash flow after all costs including mortgage payments by the total cash you actually invested, deposit, stamp duty, legal fees, and refurbishment. Three metrics, three perspectives, one complete picture. Every cost of property ownership is modeled explicitly. Void periods default to 5% of annual rent, roughly 2.5 weeks of vacancy per year. Management fees default to 10% of rent for standard buy-to-let, rising to 15% for HMOs. Annual maintenance is set at 1% of property value. Building insurance at 0.3%. Leasehold properties add ground rent and service charges. Every assumption is adjustable. Slide a value and watch all three yield metrics recalculate in real time. The donut chart shows your cost breakdown visually. Where exactly is your rental income going? Leverage changes everything. A 75% loan-to-value mortgage means you invest only 25% of the purchase price as cash. On a £200,000 property, that is £50,000. If the property generates £5,000 in annual cash flow after all costs including mortgage payments, your cash-on-cash return is 10%, even though net yield might be only 3%. The calculator models interest-only and repayment mortgages with configurable rates and terms. Adjust your LTV from 0 to 90% and see how leverage amplifies, or diminishes, your return on cash invested. Houses in multiple occupation represent the highest yielding strategy in UK buy-to-let. The dedicated HMO calculator models per room rents, for rooms at £400 each generates £1,600 per month, compared to perhaps £900 for a single tenancy. Toggle bills included mode to account for gas, electric, water, broadband, and council tax, typically £200 to £400 per month. Add HMO licensing costs, amortized over 5 years. The comparison view shows HMO versus standard BTL on the same property side by side, gross yield, net yield, cash on cash, and monthly cash flow. For a typical 4-bed terraced house, HMO yields can be 60 to 80% higher than single-let. Today's yield is important, but what happens over 5, 10, or 25 years? The cash flow projection engine models your investment through time with configurable growth rates. Rent growth defaults to 2% per year. Expense inflation to 3%. The engine calculates year-by-year income, costs, mortgage payments, and net cash flow. The cumulative area chart shows when your total cash returns exceed your initial investment, the break-even year. For repayment mortgages, the engine tracks equity build-up as the loan reduces. After 25 years, you own the property outright and your cash flow increases dramatically. This is how you model the full life cycle of a buy-to-let investment. Not sure which property offers the best return? The comparison tool lets you analyze up to 4 properties side by side. Each property is calculated independently with its own rent, costs, mortgage terms, and assumptions. The comparison chart shows gross yield, net yield, and cash-on-cash return as grouped bars. The best performer in each metric is highlighted automatically. Compare a 1-bed flat against a 3-bed terrace. Compare interest-only against repayment financing. Compare London against Birmingham against Manchester. Every combination reveals which property and which strategy delivers the best return on your capital. How do you know if a yield is good? The calculator classifies every result using 4 benchmarks. Excellent, 8% or above, outstanding returns, typically HMOs or high-yield regional properties. Good, 6 to 8%, solid investment returns, achievable in most regional markets. Moderate, 4 to 6%, acceptable for capital growth areas like the Southeast. Poor, below 4%, only justified by strong capital appreciation expectations. Each benchmark is color-coded: green for excellent, forest green for good, gold for moderate, red for poor. The animated yield gauge shows your result on a 270-degree arc with a smooth easing animation. Rental yield is just one piece of the investment puzzle. The calculator integrates with 5 other Belentino tools through the cross-app data bridge. Import property data from Market Scanner, Quick Scorer, or Comp Evidence Analyzer with a single click. Push your yield analysis to the exit simulator to model total returns including capital gains. Feed results into the Deal Funnel CRM to track every calculation against your pipeline. Import property prices from the offer engine to see yield at different purchase prices. One calculation connects to your entire investment workflow. The rental yield calculator is accessible to every investor. The free tier includes unlimited gross yield calculations and up to 3 saved calculations. Pro at £49 per month unlocks net yield, cash-on-cash return, the HMO calculator, cash flow projections, property comparison, custom default assumptions, and unlimited saved calculations with Cloud Sync. Business at $79 adds team access and advanced reporting. Enterprise at $149 includes API access and white label capabilities. All annual plans include 2 months free. 3 metrics. Full cost modeling. 25-year projections. 1 platform. Belentino rental yield calculator. What is this property really worth as an investment? Now you will know. Belentino